and welcome to another edition of the Setup Diaries. So it's the weekend, it's Sunday actually, July 6th, and I've decided to kind of give you guys a treat today. And that treat is how I actually get to my setups, my top down analysis, marking up my charts. So while we do that, I will also kind of talk about my journey, how I got started, and where I'm at today, and how the Setup Diaries really came about, and what's the purpose of it, and things like that. So, we're going to go through how I kind of set up my charts to get those set up so that I can enter them, that I'm going to be showing you all throughout for the rest of time anyways. So this is going to be a long time journey for all of us, and for me it's more of an accountability, and I just want to share with you. So I use a charting platform called Smart Trader, and it shortcuts a lot of things that I've already learned to do. So it helps me to do my support and resistance. It maps my fibs because I use the Fibonacci tool to be able to get my chart set up for my entries. So I love Smart Trader. This version that I have, or this level I guess I should say, allows me to have 6 frames. So I use the first frame for my monthly, weekly, and daily, and then I use this frame as my 8-hour. This frame I use as my 4-hour, and this frame I leave as my 1-hour, and this frame I leave as my 30 minutes. And this frame is my really low time frame, so this is like my 5 minutes. So 5 and 1 minute, I kind of play around here. We are going to be using, analyzing US 2000. So it's called the Russell 2000. What is the Russell 2000? The Russell 2000 index is a market stock index that measures the performance of 2,000 smaller companies in the United States market. Okay, what are some of those companies? Some of those companies, they break down into different industries such as like industrial, healthcare, financials, technology, consumer discretionary, what else? Energy, real estate, basic materials, consumer staples, utilities, telecommunications. So what are some of those companies that we know of that is part of this Russell 2000 index? There are companies such as AMC Theaters for all you moviegoers, Caesars Entertainment, Macy's, BJ's, Tenet Healthcare. They cover a lot, like I said, 2000, right? But just to give you some familiarity of the companies that we purchase things from, Marriott Vacation Worldwide. What else that we kind of know? GameStop, Clearway Energy. So lots of products and services that in this index we're actually seeing how the market moves. So throughout the week, when those individual companies, their stock prices are going up and down, this is the index that measures that, right? It compiles it. So just wanted to kind of break that down for you in a nutshell. So I start with my monthly time frame. I'm just going to start doing my support and resistance, and then we'll shift into a little bit about how my journey started. So bear with me today. So to give you like a start off, I usually, when we're beginning at a new month, which we're in July, we just had 1 week of July, a couple of days actually, I like to kind of mark out the previous month's close. So this is where the previous month closed. I use a light color, and this is the high of that candle, previous monthly candle, and this is the low of that candle right there. I usually would mark out my high in black, so I know that is the highest that price have been, and this is the lowest that price has been. Right, we can see that right there. So again, just to recap, this lighter purple line here is where a bullish candle closes at the top, a bearish candle closes at the bottom. We have these wicks to show how far prices move pushed up, but ultimately this is where the candle closed. This is how far it pushed down. So this was June's candle. Had a lot of market was bullish. A lot of buyers in the market last month. And we also have a lot of buyers this month. So I like to mark out this level because it helps me to know that, well, price has been moving above the previous close month. And see, right now it's closed. Well, it's not closed yet. This month is not done, but it's actually above this. So where could price go to next? I can safely say just around here, right? So that's why I like to mark that out. Then the next thing I'll do is put on my support and resistance. Yes, yes, yes. I mark those in black. So the support is formed when you have a swing low, two candles to the right, two candles to the right, two candles to the left, right? You have it here also. So that is my monthly support and resistance and what I would do on the monthly. So then I go to my weekly, and I would mark out my resistance levels, and I think this is the only one there. And then we go to our daily. We got a lot on the daily. All right, so my daily level is red. So for each level I know where my support and resistance are, and they're color coded. So if I go to my lower time frame, I know that, well, price is coming up to my daily resistance or weekly resistance or monthly resistance or support. So basically this is what I am doing right now, just marking out the support. I only do it from the monthly, weekly, and daily time frame. So this is what the daily looks like, and then I can link these down all the way to all these levels. Isn't that cool? That is really cool. So that's what I like Smart Trader for. It helps with that. Anyhow, I'm gonna go back up to my monthly time frame and kind of look to see. Okay, we know that this is our previous month close. This is the high that it's been, and price right now is breaking above that monthly previous month's candle. So the next thing I do, I kind of take a step back and see, okay, am I trending up or am I trending down? Right now this is kind of like in a U. So what I will do is start my fib from the bottom. Start it over here, and so price has been going up. We had a pullback to 886, and then it ended. This one ended here. Then we have a new fib. We've got a 382 pullback, and then price ended here. So now we have a new fib, and then price broke below this. It pulled all the way back down, and this was in April. So I'm gonna go down. Well, I'm gonna do the fib to the downside. So that's where we are. We've had a 60% retracement so far. If we can say that price is heading to the downside. So what I'll do is mark this level here, and we're going to go to the weekly. Right, again we have more candles, so the fib maps the waves to the downside, and this is where we are. So on the weekly, its price is showing us that we're moving to the upside. So we want to run the fib from here, and because it took out our A, that's why this is the A in the fib. Now price is broken above that, so we run the fib from the bottom. So we're gonna use this as our weekly level. So right now we say that price is in our 80-20 zone. What does that mean? 80% of the time price will push above this B boundary and move up here, and then we'll have a retracement for it to continue going in the direction if it's going to go to the upside. But this is where it is today, so we only can work with what it is right now. So I'm going to mark my eclipse out here. So I have an 80-20 on the weekly, so I notate that. Noting also that I also have my weekly level. Weekly candle is here, and this is the high of that, so it's pushing higher. Where could it go next? Possibly to here. We don't know that, but that's where we are right now. So we can go down to our daily and get a snapshot of what's happening on the daily. So on the daily, this is our fib. We've had a 382 pullback retracement, and no, 50% retracement, and price is pushing up. Okay, where is it going once we have this retracement? It can go to this level. So like I said, we just have to worry about what price is doing right now and where it's at. Even though we are on a higher time frame, we're usually working within this candle. All right, so let's do the 8 hour. So we're gonna move down to the 8 hour. I'm gonna start it from here just to make sure. So this is what the fib tone, but I wanted to go a little lower so we can really capture the low. All right, so we're gonna remove this, and this is gonna become our new fib level. So we have a 382 pullback, and price is right above, right at our zone on the 8 hour. So let's continue to work down. Right, we got a 382 pullback, and that's where price is. So we're gonna go to our 1 hour. Keep mapping. I love this fib. I don't have to do it myself, so. All right, so this is our new AB boundary. We're gonna take this off, and price, as you can see, we've gotten a 236 retracement on the 1 hour, and the D extension is right here. So price is very close. That's what it's reaching for. We always say possibly reaching for this level. Right, so we can do a trend line. From here. You guys are getting a treat today. Seeing how I mark up my charts. All right. So that's as much as I want to go, I think. Yeah. we'll do that. So that's basically the 1 hour analysis, right? We got a AB boundary price pullback to the 236, and we should, and then it just rushed into this D extension. No major pullbacks on the lower time frame. So we're gonna continue to map this down as we go down to our lower time frame. So basically you're just, you know, doing your top-down analysis and mapping your fibs using this tool, this software platform to really catch those waves, to know when the waves were completed. I love it. Don't have to do it manually, figuring out that, so this helps a lot. All right, so on the 30-minute, price action has showed us that we have a 382 pullback, and we know that this is the D extension on that 1 hour, right? So we may get a reaction or it may continue. We know where it's continuing up to, hey, up here, right? That's the next level from our higher time frame. But we were going to get some pullbacks based on what things are happening fundamentally. It's not just going to go. So we are here, and if I'm going to look for a setup on my 5-minute, I have to go now to my 5-minute and map the fibs. All right, guess I didn't map it down. So this is basically how I catch my setups, by doing this work. This is looking very easy to you guys, but it hasn't been that way for me. It's a lot of practice. So this is where we are in the 5-minute, and how will I take a trade here? I know that this is my 1 hour D extension, right? If you go back, it's on the 1 hour, and price is pushing into this, where this green line is. And as I go down, we know the 30-minute is saying, hey, price has pulled back 382, 38%, and it's pushing into the zone based on our 1 hour. Then we come down to the 5-minute, and price is coming into what we call the 80-20 zone. I love taking trades from the zone, because we know that in order for price to keep going up, we have to have a retracement. So I'm going to put on a trend line here, right? We know that the 1 hour, this is the D extension, which is still in our zone. So if I have if price pushed up and get into this zone, hitting this D extension, if it doesn't come and hit this, guess what? Once I see a trend line break, you know, I will keep moving, but this is the level that I would put my stop at. And this will be my take profit right here. 382. So that's basically on the weekends. I clear out all my charts and I kind of start over, and that's how I come up with my top-down analysis on doing my setup. So I'm going to wait for price to come into this zone. All right. This will be another take profit level, 61.8. But I also have to look at structure. All right, remember this was our wick on the monthly, and price can come back and retest this level, so it can come lower, but we're gonna wait and see. So this week we can look to see what does the Russell 2000 do. So a little bit about me, just to get you guys a little bit more familiar. One day I will figure out how to do the camera. I have to learn, but this is my first week, so give me some grace as I not show my face yet on camera. I'm using a tool that's a little easier, but it doesn't allow for the video to reflect back on me. So bear with me, and I will one day show my face. But in the meantime, my sweet voice, I hope, will suffice. And basically how I started my trading journey. I started my trading journey based on a decision that I made on leaving my corporate job. So back in 2000, I went to my bosses and I asked for a raise because I realized that some of my other coworkers, we were all doing the same job and they were making more money than I was, and I requested a raise. My other supervisors, they wanted to support in that, but the big dogs, I was working in finance and they were taking a little bit too long. So when I approached HR, long story short, I decided to quit when they said, hey, you have to wait till the next performance review. How many of you guys kind of went through that? But that was my story, and as I was contemplating that move, I attended a women's conference, Taffy Dollars Women's Conference, and that conference changed my life. It gave me the confidence to be able to move on from my job. And at the time, I was thinking, hey, this is going to be a quick return, right? But it hasn't been that. It's been taking me at least 5 years to really hone in this skill. So in 2020, the conference was on worth. And as I was deciding what my worth is with the company, I decided to quit my job after learning about trading. So 2 things I want to share that people should take into consideration when they want to make a decision is that there are these companies that we term as network marketing. They save our lives. They pretty much do. You just have to go out on a limb and take a chance. So I met Jewel Tankard at this conference, this women's conference. She was a speaker. Didn't meet her. I see her virtually because we were actually the country had shut down during the pandemic. During this pandemic, this company, all of the country shut down and the conference moved online. And it was her, Stacia Pierce, Dee Dee Freeman, and they did a really good job in helping you to determine what your worth was. And I continue to follow them on social media, thankfully. And she was part of this company, I Am Academy. And I Am Academy was a academy that taught you how to trade. While there were hundreds of educators, I was not getting the results that I wanted in terms of how fast, because remember I had quit my job. I was able to do that because of other things too, but I just wanted to share that the results weren't immediate as I was thinking. So fast forward a year or so later, I met one of my friends introduced me to the Forex Trade Room group, and they were launching their program. Ryan Cartage and Benny Allen, they launched that program, and I have been June 2021, and I've been with that group since then. So they are my heroes, they are my mentors, and that's how I really started to fast track my trading journey. So in this group, Forex Trade Room, I've really honed in my skills of really doing my top-down analysis. Even though my journey started I did follow a lot of really great educators that were really good. Orrin Wright, Kathy, Lee Allen, Ralph Danquah. There were a ton of them. Manny Quinones, my goodness, they were amazing. I would say they were amazing, amazing, amazing. Shout out to those guys. But that's how I would say my journey has progressed. And I have been working on this for 5 years now. 4 years with the Forex Trading Group, and 5 years since I've started. And I want to give anybody that say anything that you need to stay focused, you want to stay disciplined, you want to stay consistent, and things will work out. I mean, granted, you're with the right group also, that would probably help, but never bounce around, never look at this video. Just stick with one person or one group, one educator, whomever, until you really start to get it. And that's what I wanted to share. That has been my journey now. Like I showed you guys how to mark up your chart and how to get your setup. Like I do it on the 5 minute and the 1 minute. It's also the 15 minute, because I'm trading futures now. I started with Forex. I still trade Forex, but I start out, this is where I'm at with futures. I'm using the Forex data. So the price action is pretty much the same in futures. You just, the prices are different, right? It looks the same. So I literally just go to the futures platform that I trade on and look for the number and put it in. So that's pretty much what I do. But I want to say that you have to stay disciplined. You have to stick with it, and it will pay off. So where I'm at in my journey, like I showed you guys how I do my analysis and how I come to get my setups and why and where I would take my setups. I would never hold my trades. I would use my entries, but I would get out, I wasn't patient enough. So now I'm exercising, and this is why this YouTube channel is kind of like an accountability for me, primarily because I've done it, but I don't really wait for it, especially in futures, because you can make a certain amount and you just close the trade. But I really want to hone in, taking my setups and seeing them play out fully, while I continue to become profitable. So this is the reason for the channel. That's why I call it a setup diary. So I have my setups and I see my trades completing and also marrying it. So maybe next month or the next month later, I will start to show that, well, my setup played out, and then I have the profits to show based on that. But right now I'm just following my process, and that's what I'm kind of like showcasing and holding myself accountable. But I really enjoyed my journey. While I was with IM, I started to do a candlestick Bible class where I've met two of them that have stayed, but with everybody that was on the team, they would come to the class, and those classes used to be like 7 a.m. in the morning for like a whole week. And I did that for like a year, and I really started to understand trading alongside the educators. And as I came into, kind of like one-on-one with the Forex Trade Group, being coached by Ray and Benny, they allowed us to kind of see, you continue to practice. I did this really fast, but back in the day, guys, I was not this fast at marking up my charts. So it speaks for the growth that I've experienced. Now I could mark up like 5 charts within like 10 minutes, right? Or less. So just wanted to share that with you. It's not a quick get rich quick thing. It's a process, because our mind and our brains really have to get used to some of this stuff, and you have to program it. You have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So just sharing that with you all. But that's really a little bit about my story and how I got started. And now within the Forex trade room. I launched, thankful to those mentors, launched something called accountability group, and we meet every day, Monday through Friday, holding ourselves accountable. First, we started. It's been a year since we've done it, and I'm super proud of all of my buddies. Shout out to everyone: Michelle, Tyrone, Jeremy, Benit. Who else did I forget? There's some other people that come in and out, but and then to my other folks from our candlestick that's still with us, Vanessa and Anita. So yeah, we have fun, but it's a process that you have to keep growing and developing different strengths that you have in order to learn. Everybody learns differently, but I love trading. This is how I got into trading. That's where I'm at in trading. This is what I'm doing currently, and I've actually launched also a private group. We currently just have 2 students. I call it the Clarity Lab for traders because I think we all need some clarity after you kind of get introduced to trading, to help you get past certain roadblocks or mind blocks or just challenges that you have. So I kind of take people personally, helping them to kind of, hone in things that they've learned and help them to get clearer, see the picture, see the top-down analysis, see all of those things on a clearer perspective so that they can know where they can go. Because some parts of this thing gets fuzzy, and yeah. So that's something that I offer. So just wanted to put that out there. But I enjoy trading. I enjoy my group. I enjoy all of my people that have been following me and growing with me throughout this process. But I can tell you, I can do this markup thing in my sleep, but I just want to get through just seeing my trades play out. That's kind of like where I want to see like the success of this thing. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this session. And should you have any questions, any comments, feel free to like, subscribe, and let me know. Share your thoughts on this video. Thank you.